around because of the offense. We feel like the arms are going to be there regardless, even though they're not having the year that they typically have. Obviously, injuries are playing a big part of that. You're not getting the quality starts that we're used to seeing. There are some other measures you can look at. But as long as you have the bats going, as long as you get deep into these games and you feel like you have an opportunity because of what's going on in the batter's box, because of JP, because of Polanco, because of Cal, sprinkling some Julio, yeah, that's why we feel like they should be able to hang around. And then you factor in what's going on around in the division. Mm-hmm. It's what did he call it the other day? The land of opportunity?
Yes, Buster.
Yeah. AL West, land of opportunity.
What are your expectations now for an individual player, for the team, for the league this year? 866-979-3776. You can join that conversation on the text line. I was blown away by a stat that I saw from, I think, Mariners PR, that this was the first go-ahead win from Cal Raleigh in the ninth inning or later, when being pinch hit in the ninth inning or later. And obviously the last being 2022 against the A's that sent the Mariners to the playoffs. We all know that moment. But in my mind, I swear to God, in my mind, there had been pinch hit clutch moments from Cal since then. Mm-hmm. And I know that there may be one, maybe he was pinch hit in the eighth. Like maybe there's something in there. But I was blown away that was the last time. I was like, simply not. That's simply not true. There's simply no way.
Yeah, and that just
lets you, Cal.
That lets you know just how we view him, right? Even though the stats ain't lining up to exactly how we view Cal in these moments and picture him, it just shows you that he's done enough for us just to think every clutch stat that you can think of, Cal's done it before. Every scenario that he's been in, he's done it before, when that's just not the case. But, again, it just shows you that he's capable and he's done it enough so we convince ourselves that he's that guy.
Did you find yourself, even though at this point, the Mariners are down a run. Obviously, later they still need to get the close. But did you find yourself at this point expecting the Mariners to win? Because the A's have been solid. They've been pretty good.
No, I didn't think they were going to win, honestly. I thought it was going to be tough, especially when you get late into the game and Snyder gets put in a tough position. Spire has to come in and save the day. The bases are jacked. You allow one run to score, and then what I think is just 3 pitches, 1, 2, 3, and you're out of there with Spire. Big ups to him. In that moment, I thought, all right, man, if you don't get out of this jam, obviously it's going to be tough. And then you get to the ninth, and then I think it started with was it Mastroboni and then JP, and then once
Mastroboni knocked in the run.
Yeah. And then once you get to Julio, I'm thinking, all right, there's a chance here. And then the dumper comes up and the bases are jacked. I'm like, yeah, now let's get. So I went from chances are it's not gonna go down, but as the events start to unfold and you feel just the energy and the confidence of the team, then I'm right there with them. I'm like, all right, I feel your energy. Let's go win this.
I have found my expectations shifting to where I'll say that I expect to win sometimes. Mm-hmm. And some of that is based on bias. In my mind, the A's are a bad team, even though statistically they're not this year, right? But that's my memory just serving me. But I also am expecting a win because we've managed to see them have more run production more often, right? Last year it was, my expectation is they're going to have a couple people strike out. My expectation is Garver's going to strike out. My expectation is, Julio is going to strike out. My expectation is maybe they get a home run, a solo shot in the seventh, and that ends up winning the game, but that they're not going to, get a lot of base runners going. Like, those were my expectations last year in games. This year, because of the run production they've had, the home runs they've had, but also getting on base, I kind of expect production in each inning. It obviously won't happen, but I've found myself kind of keying in on the game and going, okay, what are they going to do here? What damage can they do? And that's a new expectation, I think.
Yeah, I think the thing that sticks out to me, what you just said, is just getting on base. I mean, they're one of the best in Major League Baseball when it comes to team on base percentage. You got Crawford at 416, Polanco at 406. Rosarena at 376. You got Mitch at 371. You can't score if you don't get on base, no matter how you do it, whether it be singles. They don't really have that many extra base hits, or just be walking. I mean, JP has one of the best eyes in the game right now. He's not going to swing at anything that's not in the zone, and he's going to give you opportunities. So as long as you see base runners out there, I feel confident in this team as of now, in the past month or so, that they'll be able to move them over. It was interesting having Polanco try to lay down a bunt there. I'm thinking, man, one of the hottest bats you got, you want him to lay down a bunt. But that's Dan in his mind thinking small ball, just advance the runners, let's get things going. That was interesting to me. But Yeah, man, they're doing it in different ways, man. So the fact that you have Jorge Blanco, one of your hottest bats in the game right now, going up there and trying to lay down a bunt means like forget the individual stuff. Let's just do what I think is right in this situation, even though he didn't execute it properly, but it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it, but I did scratch my head a little bit and say, all right, why would you do that?
Stacy Bump says the 512. Shout out Texas. I get it. Y'all have airtime to fill, but it's May. Let's pump the brakes on the hype train. We've seen this movie before. There's a reason That's So Mariners exists in the first place. I hear what you're saying, 512, and I will let you know that typically I probably think like you do. Like I tend to be very pump the brakes on almost all analysis or takeaways because mostly emotionally protecting myself, but also because it's baseball. However, that's why this conversation is not one of, wow, the Mariners are heading to the playoffs. It's one of, how have our expectations for this team changed and what might be changing them? How have our expectations for certain players changed and what might have changed that? For Cal, for instance, your expectations as a listener right now, listening, of Cal have changed from when he was a prospect. He was never a top 100 prospect, ever. He was the Mariners at one point 12th, then maybe the 8th, but came up, sent down. Your expectations of Cal, not just that he perform and be solid, but that he, like Bump said, be clutch. Bump's expectations now are, if I have to choose one guy to be clutch, it's Cal. Those are new expectations. They aren't new this year. They've evolved over a little while, right? I mentioned, obviously, that 2022 moment. But what we're doing is talking about how expectations change, what changes them, and how we're feeling about this team right now. Why not let yourself wonder if they can be more competitive this year than you thought? Why not?
My role in this chair is to be an analyst, and I'm analyzing a team that is 21-14, a team that has a good on-base percentage, a team that is one of the best when it comes to not swinging at bad pitches. If we're talking about the guys at the top of the lineup, a team that is, as of today, on May 7th, one of the best teams when it comes to the power numbers, hitting home runs or whatnot. You can pump the brakes if you want, but I'm going to look at what I'm seeing and every single day come in here and tell you exactly how I feel about that. And I think as of right now, they're one of the best teams in the AL. Great run differential. Like someone said they're doing better with runners in scoring position. Kind of, they're 1 for 8 last night, but they're still manufacturing runs, right? You never feel like you're completely out of this game with this team as of today. So, yeah, that's my job. So I'm going to do it.
I would not bet on a team being clutch, says the 425. That's like betting on a team being lucky. We need to see how the Mariners fare against the Yankees. Okay, 425. I'll tell you right now that I kind of agree with you. I'm going to that series, and I'm looking forward to it. However, 425, you have opened the door into one of my favorite conversations. What's clutchness? Is it luck or is it something else?
Clutchness is skill combined with mental toughness. And in baseball, I think there's more luck than anything because you're just trying to hit the ball hard. All right, Cal was looking for his pitch. He knew, man, he's going to throw one across the middle of the plate. I have to pull this thing, and hopefully it gets down. You know, it's when these guys are just hitting for contact, home runs are going to happen, right? It's rare that a guy is up there just trying to hit bombs every single time. It's just, look, you have to get lucky sometimes. The ball has to drop in a certain place. There was a play I thought Polanco could have made yesterday. He didn't make it. That team got lucky there. It's a combination of stuff, but to ignore the human factor, especially the mental part of that, is crazy to me because I've been in those moments. And I've seen the mentally tough people rise to the occasion, and I've seen the weak fold, even though they're both capable of doing it. So don't ignore the human factor. Of course, there's some luck in that as well.
Yeah.
But it's not just one thing. It's like 2 or 3 things that I feel like creates clutchness.
Yeah, don't forget that stat that I mentioned earlier for Mariners PR. Cal go ahead being pinch hit in the 9th inning or later to win the game. Last time was in 2022. You all know the moment. One of the most famous Mariners moments of the last 20 years, and Cal Raleigh was at the head of it. No, it is clutch, but what I'm saying is...
No, I'm talking to whoever was questioning the clutchness.
But what I'm saying is that, like, clutchness, luck is part of it by virtue of timing being part of it, right? Mm-hmm. You got to have that moment, and usually we think a player is clutch because we think of memories. I'm glad you mentioned Kobe earlier, right? Because you have memories tied to it. You can think of great moments. And there's a reason that if I said, is Julio clutch to someone, they'd probably say no, because they're thinking of moments when there was bases loaded, maybe, 2 on, 2 out. I don't know, a big situation to, go ahead moment in a game, and Julio struck out. Like, I bet you can think of a moment right now, and you can see him swinging high out of the zone.
Clutch feels are earned. And Cal has earned the feeling I have when he's in the batter's box and you need something to happen because we've seen him do it. So forget the numbers, especially with Cal. Don't forget the numbers, but don't let the numbers kind of mold the way you think about him. If you watch enough of the Mariners play, you understand that when you need something to happen, you like your chances when Cal is in the batter's box.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree. And I'm glad that I'm glad you brought up clutchness in general as something that you're like, you kind of think if there's going to be a clutch hit from someone, it's going to be this guy. I like the concept, right? It's like, you know how Big Ray will argue back and forth about momentum and whether that's real? They're just sports concepts that even people who played professionally will be like, it's real or not. Like, I bet, but I'm curious, to you, is clutchness real or is it just luck?
No, it's most definitely real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some guys just got it like that.
You know, I've seen many clutch performances. There's a dude I play golf with. When he needs to make a shot, he makes the shot. And it ain't luck. That dude is clutch as heck.
Yeah. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, big trade in the NFL this morning. The Steelers have sent wide receiver George Pickens to the Cowboys for a 2026 third-round pick and a 27 sixth-rounder. What's the real headline?
Are you sure the grass is still greener, DK?
His pockets are fatter, at least. That's for
his
sure.
His wallet's greener.
Yeah, his wallet's greener, $130 million. He's going to get over there. But DK knows you need a counterpart in this whole thing. With George Pickens not being there, you still have Robert Woods, who's on the back nine of his career. Calvin Austin III, I don't know much about. And you don't have a quarterback. You have Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and Skylar Thompson. No one there is proving that they can be the guy in this league. Something has to happen for DK. If I were DK and I saw this go down, I might be a little frustrated because he understands you need a 1-2 combo. And maybe he has it over there with Woods. Maybe Woods is going to be the guy to hold the safety in this stretch the defense out. But the situation is changing rapidly and staying the same at the same time with the Steelers because you still don't have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. If Mason Rudolph is the starter in Pittsburgh week 1, this will be the first time in how many years that Tomlin does not have a winning record or at least be at 500.
There's no way. There's no way. They will not let Mason Rudolph be the week 1 starter. Surely not, Bob.
Man, look at that roster. We going Will Howard?
Not my guy, Mason Rudolph.
We're going rookie. We're going Skylar Thompson, who's thrown like 15 passes his whole career. Like, it's not looking good over there.
The thing is, maybe it is Will Howard, but I feel like those are unfair expectations to put on him, right? It's a burden that feels a little unfair for a guy that they took. Was he a 5th-round pick?
Will Howard?
Yeah. Well, I want to say I'm certainly day 3, but I mean, this is a guy.
6th-round pick.
Sixth-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe they still give the nod to Mason either way if he's the only one there. Do you think that they are just hedging their bets, absolutely putting the bank on Aaron Rodgers being with this team?
I think they are. I also think that Will Howard has potential. I know that we've harped on quarterbacks being drafted late and what typically they do and don't do. I really like Will Howard. I don't think he's going to transform an organization. Obviously, he's going to need to be supported, but I don't feel good about that quarterback situation over there.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers stunned the Cavs to take a 2-0 series lead in the second round. Here's how that sounded.
Halliburton, the rebound. 9 seconds. They do have a timeout. Carlisle's going to let him play. Halliburton steps back and hits. Tyrese Halliburton trying to take Cleveland's heart. And it is over. The Indiana Pacers in a Game 2 stunner.
What's the real headline?
Meanwhile, Halliburton's dad was squaring up with anyone who had something to say at a nearby Applebee's.
Hey, chilling at the bar with those $2 Jello shots.
Oh, those Mott sticks.
Going nuts.
So good.
Halliburton. And what's funny about this whole thing is that anonymously, The Athletic, I think, put out an article and they asked players who are the most overrated players in the NBA. Halliburton was number 1. So the crowd is yelling overrated throughout the game, and he hits him with that crossover step back 3 to win the game. That has to be rewarding. And I think Halliburton's reputation kind of got smeared a little bit during the summertime when he hardly got any time with the USA basketball team, and people start to look at him differently. But this guy is a baller. He can play. I don't think he's a star in this league, not quite yet, maybe a rising star, but to have that moment and be up 2-0 to the Cavaliers, who Think about the Cavaliers. If LeBron's not on that team, all right, I just don't believe anything they're doing. I just don't believe it. So now you're down 2-0 to Indiana. Let's see how this thing plays out. But that has to be gratifying for Halliburton to hear those boos and overrated chants to go out there and hit the game winner.
A question for you from the text line 360. The NBA is so much better without super teams. What's the NBA landscape remaining in the playoffs? Who are the super teams who aren't?
I don't think there are any super teams. I don't think there are. I think that even if you look at,
I was like, it's funny we'll say the Warriors, but they're right.
Look at the Warriors. Like, oh, you got Steph Curry, Draymond,
different era.
And Jimmy Buckets. I don't think so, man. It's a different league, but I think it's better for the NBA to have the talent dispersed. Like we're talking about OKC and Minnesota Timberwolves, being contenders or whatnot. Even though the Timberwolves have got a lot to do. Yeah, no more super teams.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, the Warriors took game 1 from the Timberwolves even without Steph Curry, who missed the entire second half with a hamstring injury. What's the real headline?
It was a real kick to the groin for Timberwolves fans, which might not be the last time that happens in a series against Draymond Green.
Facts. Here's the thing about not having Curry. Obviously, you want him out there, but you got Jimmy Buckets on that team. A guy who took 2 Miami Heat teams that were not very talented. You had Tyler Hero, Adebayo, whatnot, but they beat some teams they weren't supposed to beat, and it's because of Jimmy Buckets. So as long as he's out there, I think they have a chance. You just got to survive, right? You got to win a game, and hopefully Steph's hamstring gets better and he gets back. But Jimmy's still out there. They still have a number 1 guy out there, number 1 option. We'll see how this thing shakes up.
We have a pretty heavy baseball show today, and that's because you are going to have daytime baseball. The Mariners are looking for another series win. It's going to be a rubber match today against the A's. Matinee baseball first pitch coming your way at 12:35. Brian Wu, healthiest Mariner, on the mound today, looking for that series win. It'll be their 9th in a row. Let's see what happens again. That's coming up 11:30 pregame right here on Seattle Sports, and then 12:35 p.m. first pitch. When expectations are broken, we're going to talk about surprising heroes from local teams coming up next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Even the guys that if you look at their average and go, ugh, they're not off to a good start. Look at the on base. This team has been outstanding at working the pitcher, at taking walks. You look at Randy Arozarena, for instance. He's had huge hits. He's had some big moments that have been game-winning moments. But overall, he's not hitting that well. He's hitting 208. But he's got a 359 on base.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Do you have a car sitting around collecting dust? Turn that car into cash at Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car today and pay you right up front, but it gets way better because once they resell your old car, they share 50% of their profit with you. I was just at Wayscar Ford getting service on my new Bronco. If you guys are regular listeners, you know what happened there. I caught up with Mark, the GM, and we were talking about the program. They've been sharing their profits with people utilizing the program for several years now. In fact, there's a whole page on their website dedicated to photos of happy customers with those giant oversized checks. Mark said people take advantage of the program because it's so much easier than selling your car yourself. And you get way more money for it than if you were to trade it in alone. Wayscar Ford offers a way to get a lot more money for your car without needing to go through the hassle of trying to sell it yourself, and that makes it a no-brainer. It's only at Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn for over 100 years, wayscarford.com.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See dealer for full details and disclaimer. Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh. Did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said, but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Did you know that your windows and doors are your main source of energy loss? At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, our windows with triple weather stripping and gasket seals are up to 25% more efficient than Energy Star standards. LakeWashingtonWindows.com, a name you can trust.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on SeattleSports.com.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. So, Greg, not all tax resolution companies are the same. There are some that are definitely not local. There are others that don't quite know what they're doing even.
Well, I tell you, these ads that all of us hear, Fresh Start program, they make you feel like, hey, man, I can just easy peasy get my taxes written off. No. And I've had several clients actually come to me after going through that process, and they just get no response after a while. They're passed around from person to person. That doesn't happen at my firm.
You are familiar with the cases that come in. You're working on them.
I'm familiar with every case that comes into our office. And I know what's going on and have the ability to really advise our taxpayers very well on what to do.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. None Better Tax Resolution, from stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the new Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced new Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the new Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best kept secret, and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your new skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the new skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We started the show talking about expectations for the Mariners, expectations for Cal Raleigh. Maybe you expect that he's going to come up in a clutch moment. Maybe you expect that the Mariners are going to be able to pull out a win in a close game. Let's talk about when expectations are completely broken. And by that, I mean maybe bump a surprising hero that came up out of nowhere on your favorite team. Maybe it's a bad team that ended up turning their season around. I just wanted to kind of explore infamous or famous and loved moments where expectations were broken. I'm glad that you mentioned Cal and his clutchness earlier, because he's one that comes to mind for me. We all thought, and so did the Mariners, by the way, like Jerry Dipoto, the Mariners, the entire front office thought that Jared Kelenic would be a cornerstone of this team, that this team would be held down by Julio Rodriguez and Jared Kelenic. Not only was the expectation, at least according to Kevin Mather on tape, pitched as Julio being a little more raw, and then like Kelnick is like this superstar. So the expectation was wrong there, and Julio kind of broke their expectations there, being far more MLB ready than was Kelnick. But also, here comes Cal Raleigh, the Mariners' 8th-ranked prospect, never a top 100 prospect while coming up out of the minors, as one of their most important players right now. No one saw Cal Raleigh as being a cornerstone of this team.
No, and those are the fun surprises, and I think those are the type of players that organizations can really pat themselves on the back and say, we found one.
Mhm.
You know, even though we were hyping up Julio and Jared Kelnick and then obviously the arms that they have as well, during this whole process, man, we found a catcher who's hopefully here for the duration of his career, a guy who already has one of the biggest moments in this organization's history. So those are where I feel like you feel the most rewarded as a scout and as a coach, a president, whoever, right? The guys who are digging through the weeds trying to find a Cal Raleigh and getting the most out of that situation. So yeah, this is those are the feel-good ones. Those are the overachieving type of players that make you feel like your process is working. Something you're doing is right.
Yeah. Do you have one? I have a football one that I wanted. Okay.
Go for it.
The football one I have about like when was an expectation broken, I go back to 2019. The previous season, the Seahawks really struggled to get anything going in the run. They were one of, if not the worst rushing teams in football. They had one running back who had a rushing touchdown. No single running back had over 300 rushing yards. Russell Wilson was like 98% of the offense. I think maybe that was 2017 and then 2018. So let's say 2017. Then they head into the NFL draft, and they use a first-round pick on Rashad Penny. Prior to that, in free agency, they got DJ Fluker. They got Ed Dixon, who was, in their mind, a really good blocking tight end. And the idea was, we're going to pound the rock. We're going to do this thing. And then who comes out of the woodwork and has the first 1,000-yard season since Marshawn Lynch? It's not Rashad Penny. It's 7th-round pick Chris Carson. That's an unexpected hero for me. I love that story.
Because, the thing about running backs is that you can get production out of a late round running back, right?
Yeah.
Like we'll see what Damien Martinez looks like this year coming up, even though he has some competition in front of him. There was another running back who was drafted late by one of these teams, and I'm interested in watching. I can't think of his name, but you can get production from those type of guys. But the way that Chris Carson hit the scene was just different. Like he seemed like he was going to be your back for the next 4 or 5 years. And, you look at a 7th round pick, and I didn't know much about Chris Carson when he hit the scene, but you go and you see him play, and you feel like, oh, they might have got away with something here with Chris Carson. Those are the picks, again, that organizations got to feel really good about because you saw something in a player that maybe 25 other teams didn't see, and you said, you know what, we're going to take a risk and draft this young man and give him opportunity. And it was so fun to watch Chris Carson run when he was healthy, man.
Yes,
so
it's just so fun when sometimes expectations can be broken in a really good way, right?
Yep.
I mean, look at Jorge Polanco. If you were to ask ball knowers in the front office, and I'm not saying that sarcastically, people who know this team better than anyone else, if you were to say, so guess the Mariner who's going to be second on this team in home runs in May, what name do you think they say?
Second on the team in home runs?
Second on the team in home runs in May. Who do you think? Who's going to be leading the team in average? Second on the team in home run. Who's?
They throw Randy in there.
Yeah.
Maybe
for
Julio,
sure. Yeah. You're looking at one of those outfielders. You're looking at Randy, Julio. You're thinking, well, Cal might be first or second. Like he's going to be one of those names. Who's saying Jorge Polanco? Not me.
I'm not saying it at all. My expectations were so low for that dude, and but it's not like we didn't have reason for it to be low. What we saw last year was tough.
Career high in strikeouts, yeah.
I want to big up Shannon too because she was the first one that I heard really talk about his injuries last year and how she watched him during spring and felt like, this could be a decent year for him. I respect him because he kept those injuries on the low. We didn't really hear about him, and now he's healthy and he's doing his thing. But no, expectations extremely low for that one. Mine were low for Ben Williamson too. Like even he's had some moments, right? He's not a guy that you think of when it comes to clutch moments, even though he's had one or two. He's not a guy that you want to depend on. When he got called up, it was all about his defense. And now I see Ben. He looks and feels like a major league player. When I first saw him and watched him go about his business and his family's in the stands, I think, oh, that's cute. Enjoy this moment. You'll probably be sent back down. But it feels like he's a part of this team now.
what's something that you can think of? It could be with, one of your childhood teams, a team that you were on, maybe a team that you were just a big fan of, where it was like kind of an unexpected hero. An expectation was broken. Everyone thought it would be this guy, and it ends up being someone else.
Well, I can kind of answer that question.
Okay.
Like, even recently, I didn't think the Lakers were going to make the push into the playoffs that they made.
That's true.
Like, expectations switched. Even when they got Luka, I'm still thinking maybe get into the play-in game. We'll see what happens there. That shifted. And because they had a stretch of just really good defense that obviously disappeared when you got into the playoffs. But no, expectations switched up a little bit. As soon as you start seeing progress in what a team is doing, it switches up a bit. When I was in college, we started off like 5-1 or something like that, and we're ranked like top 20 in the country. And going into that season, I didn't think we were going to be that good. So we get there, and we're 5-1. We get to like 6-2 or something like that. I'm thinking, competing for a Pac-10 championship, baby, we rolling. And then we lose 3 games in a row, and we're out that thing. So that's what expectations are all contingent on what you see in the moment. Right, week by week. With baseball, you go series by series and try to feel what this team is doing, what they can do, what they can't do, and kind of go on from there. But, expectations can change fairly quickly. We can be talking about this team after this next series and feel a bit different about it.
Yep. How about expectations, to your point, for a team's entire record? The Seahawks, right? Trade away Russell Wilson. You have what's widely regarded as the worst quarterback room in the NFL with Drew Lock and Geno Smith. Most people expect, outside of Seattle, most people expect that Drew Lock is going to be your starter. There's not a lot of faith whatsoever. At this point, Russell Wilson has not played it down for the Broncos, and everyone's thinking, you guys are idiots. You are absolute idiots. You traded away a sure thing, and now you're, rolling the dice on Drew Lock? That was the national conversation.
Yep.
Expectation, at least according to Vegas, 5 over under 5.5. Those were your win total.
Yep.
And your playoff team.
It's expectations can be scary at the same time, because now I'm looking at this Mariners team, and like we talked about, our expectations have changed. Maybe they can contend for this division, but will they? Can they keep this up? Are my expectations shifting in a healthy way to where I'm not just going to be devastated at the end of the year? That's why we get the text that we get here, because people have been through this emotional roller coaster of having these expectations for a team who played well in April, who's transitioning into May, and you're asking yourself, is it fair for me to put these expectations on them? And I think that you got to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You got to be able to put yourself out there and ride the wave. But so I get it when people get a little shaky with these guys, but to ignore what they've done and not change your expectations, I don't think it's healthy. But what also isn't healthy is ride or die for this team for 30 years and they only hook you up a couple times.
I hear you, and I think it's a really good point on, like, if you were being honest, if everyone was honest with themselves, if you were really down on this team in February, your expectations probably have quietly changed in a positive way, but you don't want to admit it.
You don't want to admit it. You don't want to put it out there for the universe to feel.
Exactly, and that's okay. But you're right, Bump. If I'm honest with myself, my expectations have changed.
Yeah.
And I almost don't want that to be the case, because it's easier to say, you got 4 other places outside of first. It's easy for me to say the Mariners are going to be, below 500 by summer, or they're not going to be in first place. Yeah. I got 20 plus years of them failing to point to. But I don't know. This offense is better than I thought.
A little more better.
Yep. All right, you guys, get off my lawn. Coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Even the guys that, if you look at their average and go, they're not off to a good start, look at the on base. This team has been outstanding at working the pitcher, at taking walks. You look at Randy Arozarena, for instance. He's had huge hits. He's had some big moments that have been game-winning moments, but overall, he's not hitting that well. He's hitting 208, but he's got a 359 on base.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
What's up? It's Michael Bumpus for Silver Reef Casino. Man, if you want to take an easy drive up I-5, I got the place for you. Silver Reef Casino. Get off on exit 260. It's a great place to get away and recharge. And once you get there, go check out some of their deluxe rooms with great views. You got free Wi-Fi. You got tablets. Very interactive. I've been there. I've done that. I love it. And when it's all settled in, go downstairs, man. You can eat at some great restaurants. You got the steakhouse and you have the cantina. And the weather is turning. It's getting nice out there. Go play 18, man. There's water everywhere, so bring some extra golf balls, I'm telling you, but go play 18 at Loomis Trails Golf Course, and when you're done there's still more for you to do. They got great events coming up. You got the Beatles versus the Stones coming up, man. They got something for everybody. You got food, you have golf out there, you have great events. If you're feeling FOMO, don't trip, I got you. Visit silverreefcasino.com. Book your stay today. That's silverreefcasino.com.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Did you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
We were the Humane Society of the United States. 70 years of fighting for animals. Today, we are called Humane World for Animals, a name that reflects our unstoppable commitment to end animal cruelty globally. Humane World for Animals, the end of animal cruelty.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See you with the full details and disclaimer. Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Michael Bumpus here, and golfers, how does a golf handicap level up your game? First, it levels the playing field so you can compete with golfers of any skill level. 2, shooting par isn't realistic for many of us, so a handicap can set achievable goals on your actual skill level. Lastly, tracking your progress helps you set goals towards improvement like I have. You can get a handicap index in 3 easy steps. Sign up for a handicap ID, post your scores, and after 3 18-hole rounds, you got it. To learn more, visit wagolf.org/710.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
I've always been an athletic guy, but after turning 40, I noticed I was slowing down. I booked a free testosterone check with Revive Health and learned that low T doesn't just impact my performance in the bedroom. I've been following a custom treatment plan ever since, and today I'm feeling stronger and more confident than ever.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, text BOOST to 65555 or visit ReviveMensHealth.com to schedule your appointment. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help. Text stop to cancel. See privacy policy at ReviveMensHealth.com/privacy policy. For info on how opt-in info will be used and terms and conditions at ReviveMensHealth.com/terms of use for terms of short code service.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Every single Wednesday at 10:45, one Michael Bumpus has to tell us the 3 things really grinding his gears this week, making him yell like an old man. Get off my lawn, Bump. What's bothering you today?
I'm a man. It is. I'm 40. Would it be like, this is what's bothering me today. No hate towards the young athletes that I'm going to describe. It's more misunderstanding, or not even hate, just why to the universities. I keep seeing, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and all that stuff, and follow a lot of young athletes. And there are universities offering football players that are in 6th and 7th grade. 6th and 7th grade, when you are offering them a scholarship, and it's fake. It's a fake scholarship. You know why? Because the coach who's offering you that scholarship probably ain't going to be there when you are in 11th and 12th grade. The one sport where I could see where offering at that age would work is basketball. Because in basketball, kids are just different. You got a 7th grader who's like 6'1", 6'2". You see the skill, and you know, all right, even if I'm not here, this university is going to want this type of player. Because, it's so specific. In football, the bodies change so quickly. And there's injuries or whatnot, and you don't reach your full potential. And I keep seeing these universities offering these kids, and the kids are happy, and I'm happy for the kid, because you get to have that feeling of someone wants me. Being recruited is one of the most fun things I've ever experienced, because you got people jogging for you. I mean, they're telling you how much they love you, what they're going to use, how you're using their offense, and you're just great, you're this and you're that. I get the high, I get the rush that you feel, but these universities keep offering these 6th, 7th graders, and I'm saying, look, that kid might not pan out. He might not want to play football when it's all said and done, and it's all just a marketing type of scheme there. The coach is offering you 8 times out of 10 ain't going to be there when it's time for you to really sign your letter of intent. And you're just using these young players for marketing. Just stop with it already. It should be a rule. You can't be offered until you are officially in high school. You play one high school season, and then you can be offered, because these 6th, 7th, 8th grade. You know what? I can see an 8th grade quarterback being offered too.
Maybe.
I can see that.
I don't mean to be dramatic or make this sound inappropriate, but a D1 scholarship offer pre-puberty is wild. Like, you're 5'2", 110 pounds.
Yeah, it blows my mind. I get you see the talent. I get it's marketing.
Right.
But listen, things change. Things change a lot. I can see a top-notch 8th grade quarterback. Like, I'm sure when Arch Manning was in 8th grade, he just looked different. He just tossed the ball across the yard.
He's got a last name.
You're like, all right, we can do that. But these like running backs, receivers, 6th, 7th grade, I'm like, bruh, they might not even want to play football no more.
What it is that you are very interested in the future athletic potential of a child, but you have to make it not creepy.
Yeah.
So you have to make it like, oh, it's for scholarship purposes. We're thinking of offering him. No, just say you want to go watch his games. Say it's a middle school, but you kind of want to watch this kid play.
Crazy, man. Don't get it twisted. If someone offered my son at 7th grade, like, that's cool, for sure. But it also be in his ear like, that ain't real.
You know what's wild is like when I was volleyball manager in 7th grade, no one offered me. And like that really bothers me. What's next?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
You ever wonder, like, oh, when I pass away, like, what are people going to say about me?
All the time.
You know, like, it's scary, but it's interesting at the same time. Now, this story is like a year old, but I came across it and I was like, oh, they jacked this up.
Okay.
There's a Bulgarian team, right? One of their players passed away before the game. They have a moment of silence. And, like, after the game, they get a text from that player saying, I'm not dead. I'm actually alive.
No!
Like, come on now, man. Make sure the body is cold. Like, you got to do some research. They had a moment of silence. People were crying, and he's watching this go down. And then at least maybe he heard some great things said about him, though. Maybe they talked about his character and how maybe he was a father, a husband or whatnot. But then after the game, he texts his club. It was like, actually, guys, I'm good. Actually, I'm good. So maybe the plus side is you got to hear some great things about you, how people really feel about you. But, yeah, that's irresponsible.
How long were you unavailable, gone, missing, maybe took the day before they were like, I think he's dead?
I think he's dead.
You know what I mean? Like, if it had been something where it's like, you're presumed missing and then blah, 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 and then this person shows up and it's like, oh, my God, that's unbelievable. But, like, are we talking a 24-hour turnaround where, like, you were just at your friend's house, your cell phone died, and they're, like, sitting here going, okay, we're all going to wear, you know, armbands and have a moment of silence because, you know, we really miss Todd.
They jumped the gun. They jumped the gun. Like, you got to talk to his mom, his dad, his significant other, his brother, or somebody. There's got to be extensive verification. Moment of silence before the game. Everyone's taking a knee.
Yeah.
It was all dramatic, and he sends him a text like, actually, guys, I'm good.
And here's what's crazy. Now, if you die for real, you're not going to get the same thing.
No.
And that's really disappointing.
Like we used it up already.
That's what I'm saying. That's so, like, yes, do I want to find out what people would say about me if I died out of curiosity? Yes. Do I want to know if I was murdered? Would there be a Dateline episode? Yes, of course.
I don't want to know.
Do I think of
you
what
know
pictures?
If he was murdered?
Well, no.
No.
I'm just saying, like, have I thought before after seeing a picture of me? I hope that's the picture they use. Yes. But, like, once you use that, you don't get it back.
No.
Because then when you die for real, it's like, all right.
We used up this emotion already.
No offense, we already did this. So rest in peace, but, you know, you don't get two.
Yeah, crazy.
Okay, what's next?
Irresponsible.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
All right, last one. What was the biggest story of the draft? Shedeur Sanders drop into the 5th round to the Cleveland Browns. You and I thought maybe the Saints would take him. We thought maybe the Raiders would take him. Somebody. I thought maybe 2nd round at the latest, but he drops to the 5th. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time is part owner of the Raiders, right? And he was asked, he goes, well, you know, why do you think Shedeur slid all the way to the 5th round? Why don't you guys pick him? You know what he said? He said, I wasn't a part of the evaluation process. Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time. You mean to tell me you didn't watch any film? That's a dang lie. You just don't want to be associated with the drop of this young man because you probably know Dion very well, and everyone was expecting you to do it. The crazy part about this is you can just say whatever you want to. Whatever you want to, you can just say it, and no one's really going to question you, especially if you're Tom Brady. Some people are questioning it. But I saw this, and I saw, you are a dang lie, Tom Brady. You know very well you watched that film. You know very well you probably said, I don't like his attitude. I don't like who he is. We can do without him. Let's go another direction. To sit here and tell people that you didn't watch any other film, you're not a part of the evaluation process, no one's going to believe that, Tom Brady. Greatest quarterback of all time. You're not watching film on all these quarterbacks? Liar.
We already know that's not true also because we know, and granted there were conflicting reports about how heavily he was recruiting Matthew Stafford, but we already know that he's been part of conversations with players who might have been interested in playing for the Raiders. In fact, we know on the record that Geno Smith told Albert Breer that he had like big meetings with Tom Brady and that Tom Brady was so active in working with Geno and stuff like that. No, Tom, that's a lie.
Why are you lying?
The lie detector determined that was a lie,
Why are you
Tom.
lying? Come on, Thomas.
Getting back to the Mariners with Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Nick Ebenwari is with us. Nick, how are you, man?
Super blessed, super grateful, but yeah, I feel like I should have gone a little sooner, but I landed in the right spot ultimately. Had a great connection with them, so I'm glad I ended up going to the Seahawks. But in my notes, in my phone, like I kind of had like the NFL, it's personal list, so like that's a funny thing I for myself.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in Seattle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See with the full details and disclaimer.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See with the full details and disclaimer.
Hey, fight fans, Bob Stelton here from Wyman and Bob. How'd you like to sit ringside with me at Excite Fight MMA? Seattle Sports is hooking up one lucky winner with 2 VIP tickets. That's right, you and a guest for an unforgettable night of fights on May 24th at Muckleshoot Casino Resort. These seats are right next to the cage, right next to me. You're not going to find them online. This is a one-of-a-kind experience. You can enter right now at seattlesports.com/win for your shot at a fight night you're never going to forget.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Utah Hockey Club has revealed its mascot after a year-long search. Welcome the Utah Mammoth is the new name for the NHL franchise. Utah accidentally leaked the news themselves a week ago when they changed their official YouTube handle to @UtahMammoth. The Jags have released wide receiver Gabe Davis. Jacksonville signed Davis to a 3-year, $39 million contract last offseason. He finished with just 239 receiving yards in 2024.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Talking Mariners with Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman. He joins us on the Emerald Creek Casino Sportsbook hotline right now. Jordan, how's it going? Happy Wednesday.
Hi, guys. Good to see you as always. Happy to be here.
We are happy to have you, and I'm going to dive into kind of a weird topic to start. Now, normally having you on is awesome because we get to ask you about some other teams and the rest of the league, and I know we'll get to it, but Bump and I earlier were not just talking about how expectations have changed for the team, but how our expectations have changed for Cal Raleigh in particular. This was not someone who was a top 100 Mariners, baseball prospect. He was, I think, number 12 and then number 8 for the Mariners. And now I think that the average Mariners fan, Jordan, would say, I was one of the most clutch hitters, like, on this team. Like, he's absolutely amazing. Has Cal Raleigh surprised you? Like, when did you start to shift your expectations and shift your valuation of Cal?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that we've seen him kind of level up in a few different ways over these past few years. I mean, to me, I think what is so cool about the Cal Raleigh story, and there's a lot of kind of elements to what he has become that is remarkable, and obviously a testament to, you know, his hard work and what he has kind of become as a total player. But you just think about having a moment like that, you know, in 2022. And as at that point, you know, a player who was not a rookie, but I guess it was, you know, just his second season. And he had a great season that year. You know, he hits 27 home runs as a catcher. He's 25 years old, and you have all these great expectations. But when you have a home run like that, you know, to send the Mariners to the playoffs, and it's like, well, it's not going to get better than this. And maybe from a singular swing, it won't ever get better than that, right? But at the same time, for him to just take that season and somehow improve every single year for a position that is as volatile and as challenging as there is. Like, this is the position where the production is supposed to fluctuate up and down from year to year, and that he's now on track to hit easily 30, if not maybe 40 home runs as a catcher, 30 homers in 3 consecutive seasons, is astonishing. And that's before you even get to what he has, of course, meant to this team defensively. So that is what is so amazing. To have this kind of consistency at this position is just frankly unheard of, certainly in the modern game.
We were talking about how when I was growing up, I don't remember Kobe missing a free throw. Like, I just don't.
It never happened.
Never happened. That's how I feel when Cal is in a batter's box in a clutch situation. I just feel like he's gonna get it done. But I want to ask you about a young arm. Man, the first time we saw him, it didn't look great for young Emerson Hancock, and they sent him down and brought up Luis F. Castillo, and we're wondering, okay, when's this young man going to be ready? And his last few outings, he's looked good. What are you seeing out of him? How has he been able to kind of get better as the starts have come around?
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned him because, you know, giving 6 solid innings last night against like what we know to be like a pretty good A's lineup. You know, this is not the A's of the past where you're looking at the A's in the schedule and you're like, all right, well, we can, you know, take care of business there. Maybe that's, you know, one of the easier starts you have on the schedule, especially when they would go to Oakland, you know, at Pitchers Park and those lineups are not very good. This is a very different situation now. I think what's been really cool to watch with Emerson is him figuring out what works for him, right? I mean, you can always wish that pitchers are going to have the wipeout stuff. They're going to strike out 10 guys a game. And the reality is that's just not his thing. And maybe, you know, down the road, he does find a pitch that can kind of get him some more consistent swing and miss. But the reality is he's finding ways to succeed now with, I mean, listen, it's not like he's going up there throwing 88. I mean, this isn't a Kyle Hendricks situation, but he understands that he needs to pitch to contact. He needs to put the ball on the ground. He needs to get a lot of, you know, weak contact to enable him to go go deep into games. Now, sometimes that is going to result in some ugly outings where he is allowing a lot of hard contact and maybe some balls go over the fence. But if he can throw enough strikes and if he can mix enough, like I've said, I mean, the Mariners fans have been so spoiled with the kind of pitchers that they've been having, that for Emerson Hancock, for the struggles that he's had initially, and sometimes not looking as dominant as some of these other guys, it's like, oh, well, what's going on? Why isn't this guy awesome? He was a first round pick. But I think he's kind of finding himself, and at a time when the team really needs it, without Logan Gilbert. So I think it can't be, you can't give him enough credit for what he's kind of settled into.
I'm a big fan of Baseball Barbiecast. It's an excellent podcast. You guys had an episode recently. Do you call it baseball golf, or is it just standings golf? Standings golf?
Yes.
So for anyone, just a very quick explanation of the concept.
Sure.
The goal, like golf, is to get the lowest number possible, and you get the lowest number possible by successfully in early May choosing the team that will finish in that place in the division.
Yes.
So you guys, you go through the first couple ones, and it'll be like, you choose the Rockies to finish last, right? Because you get, you get 0 points. They stay in last place, so it's great. You guys can see where this is going. It becomes a little tougher when you get to more volatile divisions. Jordan, the Mariners in the AL West we're near the end of that episode for you guys because it was such a tough time. How did you guys kind of see it panning out, and what makes this division so tough to predict for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, again, some of it is relative to some of these other divisions where they're just teams that are basically going to finish either where they're at or multiple spots away. Whereas, again, with Seattle, like, there's a path where they have a very good season and they finish in third, which in the context of that game would be 2 points, and 2 points is really, really, really bad. You really don't want that. And so it's not necessarily saying that the Mariners have no shot. And by the way, I did end up picking them because it was like, listen, some of the changes that we've seen with this team and for how weak this division is, seemingly, maybe they do have a real shot to win it. At the same time, I just think there's so many moving parts, not just with Seattle, but with Houston having their struggles, with Texas maybe starting to finally turn it around, with clearly the A's being a better team than they have been in recent years. I just can't pretend like I know anything in this division. I do think it's going to end up being close. But they're right in it. Clearly they've been in first place now for a while, and not that they've built this massive lead, but they have the pieces in place to go out and win this division, or at least finish in second, which for the point of that game would have me feeling totally fine.
All right, time for our weekly Julio report. 3 hits last game, first time since April that's happened. It seems like he's a bit more decisive. Like, he's making better swing decisions. He's making contact. He's not striking out at a high clip like we're used to seeing. What's his report card looking like?
Yeah. I listen, I knew. I was like, all right, here comes the Julio question, and this is a good time to do it. 5 straight games without a strikeout, which, I'm sure there's some people like rolling their eyes like, really? Are we really celebrating going a week without striking out? But for Julio, like, sure, like, absolutely. I mean, and that's not just a recent thing. I mean, his strikeout rate is at a career low. His walk rate is at a career high. His BABIP is at a career low. And so I know you're still looking at a batting average that doesn't look great, but I mean, I've kind of been saying this for a while, like, the underlying stuff still looks really, really good for him. And maybe this run recently is the sign that hot streak that we've grown so accustomed to coming in July or August or September, maybe that is coming sooner. But, the thing is with Julio, like, he hasn't had to do all of it. And I think that is what is most encouraging about this start for Seattle's offense, is it hasn't just been about him. Now, obviously, because he's the face of the team, when he strikes out in big spot, of course, it feels more significant. And he still has at-bats where he's, swinging at pitches that nobody should be. Of course, that's still happening. But like I've always said, if he's still giving you that Gold Glove defense in center and making a difference on the bases, he's on pace once again to be, a 4 to 6 WAR player, which any team in baseball would love to have in center field. And if he can kind of get going on a hot streak and combine that with what the rest of this lineup is looking like, now we're really starting to talk about a well above average offense, not just a good one.
The next time we have you on, it'll be a matinee game against the Yankees at T-Mobile. So we're going to be kind of in the middle of another series. So we were hoping we could lean on you for a little bit of a preview for both the Toronto Blue Jays and the Yankees. I know know, Jordan, many Mariners fans are excited to see how Seattle's able to stack up against New York. Everyone here hates New York. And then everyone hates Toronto, and Toronto hates us. It's always a very contentious presence in the park. So 2 home series, 2 good clubs. Tell us what you're seeing with both of these teams.
Yeah, Toronto coming off a pretty brutal loss last night against the Angels, where Jeff Hoffman, who, I mean, before last night was really one of maybe the only reliever who you could be like, yeah, he's been better than Andres Munoz. Like, he was really the only other guy where it was like, yeah, I mean, look at what he's been doing. He's been going multiple innings, and last night just didn't have it. And the thing about the Blue Jays, they just don't really have a lot of margin for error. The top of their roster is very talented, but their pitching, we just saw they signed a couple pitchers in Jose Urena and Spencer Turnbull. I don't know if Turnbull is going to be much of a factor in the near future here, but that is a roster with Scherzer still out. Like, when you catch them on the right day, it's a pretty good team, but they have just been struggling so much to produce from a power standpoint that I can't imagine that's suddenly going to start in Seattle. But maybe I'm wrong. They do certainly still have some good hitters there in Vlad and Bo, who I think, I know he's only got 1 homer, but I think Bo has been awesome, and I think he'll continue to be awesome. And Santander very slowly starting to heat up. He's been very disappointing so far. So Toronto's still a talented club. I think that'll be a good series. And then the Yankees, I mean, let's not overcomplicate it. You're dealing with a player who is in the midst of one of the greatest stretches in baseball history in Aaron Judge, and so how they choose to attack him, how they choose to pitch to him, that'll kind of be the whole thing, because the reality is right now the rest of this Yankees lineup isn't that good. I mean, yes, Paul Goldschmidt has been hitting it up for a high average, and Ben Rice has been a really nice story, although he's been a little bit more inconsistent recently, but Bellinger's been really disappointing, and there are still parts of that lineup that are not really producing. So it's going to be all about Judge, and as it should be. I think, baseball is a team game, but when you're playing at this level, he is absolutely the person you need to focus on.
We've been trying to figure out just the Dan Wilson effect, and it's hard for people to see this, how a skipper affects a game, right? And I think Vargas being out there for the second night in a row obviously was a good decision. He's still bringing heat there. There was a decision to ask Polanco to bunt late in the game. So those are the kind of decisions that pop up, when I'm trying to evaluate Dan Wilson. What's a decision that you absolutely loved so far, and what's a decision that you hate?
Man, I'll be honest, there have been a lot, and some have ended up working out great. I mean, even this first game against the A's, it did not look awesome with playing the infield in. If you're going for a double play, you're facing Jacob Wilson, who never ever swings and misses. Like, there have been some strange stuff. Now, the bullpen stuff is harder to evaluate on a day-to-day basis because you never know who's actually available. And is it worth it to continue to run Munoz into the ground the way that they really have in recent years in a series in May? And yeah, of course, it's an important game. You've had situations where it's like, why is Trent Thornton pitching another inning and he gives up a really deep fly ball that stays in the yard? Like, we've seen a lot of different things work really well and really not well. So I don't know. And the bunting, again, we're getting a little bit more of an old school approach. There have been a lot of situations where it seems like it's like, if this is your inning, this is your inning. Like, we're not going to go out there and do anything about it. That's just how it's going to work. When it's situations where it's like, why isn't Spire coming in? Why isn't? But then you also just have to remember the personnel. I mean, they're rolling out there. They have one lefty. Spire's been amazing, but he only has so many matchups that he can play. So, I mean, now listen, is there one specific thing? There have been a lot. It's been a very different experience watching this team, and when it works out, it's cool, and when it's not, it's like, what is going on? Obviously, they're playing well in a lot of facets to the point where it generally hasn't cost them too much, but you have to hope it's something that the rhythm and the understanding of how these things are managed starts to become more clear, because in some cases it's just been a little bit some head scratching moments for sure.
I'm glad that Bump brought up Dan Wilson, not just because it's an interesting conversation to talk about a new manager, but when we put out a question for listeners on social media about, hey, what's the behind in 8 consecutive series wins, I think folks were like, oh, Dan Wilson, small ball. So we had Jay Buhner, who was on our morning show, Brock and Salk, who said, oh, it's small ball. And then Jeff Passan came on 2 days later and was like, what are you talking about? They're hitting bombs.
Yeah.
Like, how would you characterize this brand of baseball?
Yeah. I mean, again, like when you see anybody bunt nowadays, because it is so rare,
Right. Small ball.
it's like, oh, well, they're a small ball team. It's like, okay, well, that's clearly not the case. They're whatever, top 5 in homers. And it's, I mean, what it is. And by the way, I'll tell you, we recorded this morning. We did a whole segment on the Mariners offense because my co-host Jake Mintz was like, what is going on? Like, what is happening? Like, why? How is this possible? And so, you want to go into, when you have personnel changes on the coaching staff, you want to be like, oh, well, it's a different style. This is a different game plan. It's a different. I'm sure a lot of these things are involved. But then at the end of the day, like, whether it's credit to the heading coaches or not, you just have players playing at an extremely high level. You have J.P. Crawford playing like it's 2023 again. You have Jorge Polanco playing better than he ever has in his life and better than most players ever have in their lives. And so at this point, you have a confluence of players who clearly the Mariners believed in, which is why they haven't, I mean, that's not the only reason why they haven't gone out and added to it, but, there was a core here that you can understand, like, there are good players here. And last year, for long stretches, that was not happening. Those good players were not playing well. And so it was just like, what are you talking about? Now you have players that do have track records that are performing at high levels. That's Randy Arozarena. That's Jorge Polanco. That's Cal Raleigh. That's J.P. Crawford. That's Julio Rodriguez. Like that's a lot of guys that are playing well. You mix in some unexpected contributions from Leo Rivas here and there, and you end up with a pretty good offense.
Go listen to the latest episode of Baseball Barbie Cast. He is Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman. Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
See you next week.
Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
It's 4 rounds today. First round, who can have the biggest impact on a new team this year?
It's all about veterans being moved, right? And I think we've adopted this team, or at least we did last year, and I'm looking at the Commanders. And one, if you haven't seen the video of Jaden Daniels on
that's
stage
what I was gonna look up.
dancing, I thought he was a professional dancer. The way he's moving, I swear, it's crazy. Check him out if you haven't seen it. But
I'm Googling.
I'm going to D.C., and I'm looking at Deebo Samuel. Because last year, his numbers were not great. He was banged up a little bit, but he's going to bring something to that team that not too many other teams have. I think that, McLaurin had 12 big plays last year in the pass game, over 1,000 yards. I think if you get over 1,000 yards total from Deebo Samuel, 400 or 500 on the ground, 600-700 through the air, you're going to transform that offense. You're going to allow not Kiffin over there. OC. Why am I blanking on his name?
In Vegas?
Kingsbury. No, DC. Kingsbury over there to open up this offense and kind of do some things that you haven't really seen with Jaden Daniels. And he's a running quarterback as well. You put him and Deebo in the backfield with that run game, motioning Deebo everywhere. I think there's a dynamic that can be unlocked. It's all about that defense over there. If they can play good defense, they might be okay.
Okay, I am watching the video and I can confirm it's pretty impressive.
He looks like a professional dancer.
It's pretty impressive. Second round, round 2. Round 2. Is this golf themed?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
No.
Round 2. What's a stat that seems fake to you?
15 of 60 from 3. That's what the Boston Celtics were a couple days ago when they played the Knicks. 15 of 60. 61% of their shots were 3-pointers. I grew up in a day where one person on your team had the green light to shoot threes, and he was probably shooting 5 or 6 of them things a game. And the debate around the Boston Celtics is, okay, can they continue to win like this? Yes, they can. They shot the most threes in NBA history per game last year, or this past season, and they typically make around 35% of those things. But when I saw that stat, I could not believe it that I'm watching basketball in a day where a team is shooting 61% of their shots are 3-pointers. The thing about that is you live by the 3, you will die by the 3. But they've been living. They won a championship last year, and they shot a bunch of threes, I think first or second in the league, and now they are just shooting at a high clip. They are genuinely looking just for threes, but the coach is giving them the green light to do it, so they're going to do it. You got Brown over there. You have Tatum as well. Those guys are going to launch him up there. So I was watching Sports Center last night, and I saw that stat, and I could not believe what my eyes were seeing. 15 to 60. Crazy.
Round 3. What's your prediction for DK Metcalf in Pittsburgh?
Frustration. I think there's going to be frustration over there for DK. Now that Pickens is going to be a Cowboy, you don't have a quarterback. I'm afraid that DK is going to have a season around 800-900 yards and maybe 5 or 6 touchdowns. So that's today, right? Tomorrow they could sign Aaron Rodgers, and I could feel a little better about that situation over there, but he's going to need some help. And Pickens was going to do that. I want to see those dudes on the field together crashing out, just going nuts. But we're not going to see that.
You just want to see chaos.
I do. I like to see it. I want to see just that emotion.
Yeah.
So now you got to lean on Robert Woods to be your guy. He's 33 years of age. He's still got some speed to him. Had 20 receptions for 203 last year. He was banged up. But no, I think DK is going to be frustrated. I think once he looks at his pockets, he'll be just fine. But he wants to win ball games. Is there anything you know about DK? He wants to win. You can say what you want, a diva, whatever. I don't see DK as a diva. I just see him as a guy who plays with a lot of emotion. I think that situation went from okay to worse right now when it comes to DK.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do not go out there and get Aaron Rodgers, I said you heard here first. No Aaron Rodgers, they will be below 500 for the first time.
Round 4. What's something you're tired of seeing in baseball?
John Boy had this great breakdown. There's a baseball game in college, Virginia Tech versus University of North Carolina. This one young man hits a bomb, boom, stares at it for a little bit. The catcher's behind him. Get going, get going. The that's a warning, that's a warning. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, he didn't do too much, right? He swung, bow, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Looking at it now, he's jogging down the first baseline. Let these young men celebrate a little bit because the pitchers be going nuts when they strike somebody out.
Yeah.
So then, that was Virginia Tech. His boy backs him up. He hits a bomb. Boom. Now he looks at the catcher and throws a bat at him. I get it. Young man, you're removed from the game.
I kinda like it.
I'm just saying, it's almost like every sport is allowed to show emotion for real, except in baseball. It's like, oh, you're showing up the pitcher.
Yeah.
You know how many times I see pitchers yelling and screaming and being demonstrative with their movements or whatnot as they walk into the dugout? As long as your energy is not towards the opponent, I think it should be okay. As long as you're not just sitting there staring at the ball for 5 to 10 seconds, it should be okay. Like, I've never hit a home run before. I bet that feels amazing. I've done it in BP, and that felt great. But in a game like that, I just want to see the players have a bit more responsibility when it comes to, I guess, how they are celebrating. But these umps and these catchers, man, get out your feelings. Let the man celebrate a little bit.
It's so true, though. It's like there really is an old school versus new school philosophy that is still a debate raging in baseball today. And I remember there have been many controversial bat flips that everyone's talked about, but it wasn't a bat flip. Fernando Tatis a couple years ago ushered in a big conversation about like the concept of having fun in baseball, and I can't remember what it was. I don't know if it was like a grand slam or a home run off a position player who was pitching. I don't remember exactly what happened. Do you, Curtis, do you remember what happened? It was like at the time we were having quotation marks heavy use discourse about Fernando Tatis and having fun in baseball, and I can't remember what it was he did that like set that off.
It was he hit a grand slam and they were up by like 10 already.
That's what it was
against the Rangers.
Buff,
and they
you talked
beat him.
about this.
Yeah.
And I remember a similar conversation where you were like, what's with the rules that apply to baseball in terms of not only not celebrating, not having fun, not being competitive, so we're just supposed to turn it down to 1 out of 10?
Yeah, it's wild. Let the guy show some emotion. There's a line you can't cross. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
But you should be able to have some fun out there, especially when you hit a freaking home run.
Come on.
It's the hardest thing to do in sports. Goodness gracious.
Would you hit a bomb off a position player if he was pitching? Like that other day when we were watching that Mariners game, this guy's pitching, 50 miles per hour.
Give me an
30
aluminum
miles
bat.
per hour.
Didn't Hyphen hit a bomb during PP with an aluminum bat? I think he did. Give me one of those. I'll get one.
Aluminium bat. Would you look down on a player for hitting a home run when a position player was pitching in a game?
No.
You're up 11-1.
No.
Player
Smash
goes
that
in there.
thing.
Really?
Smash it. You still gotta play baseball.
Yeah.
Smash it.
That's how I feel about it. I think people always talk about like what class is in sports. Is a classy player, not a classy player, classy move or not a classy move. And it's like, I don't know, man. Winning is pretty fun. All right, we are sending you to daytime baseball. The Mariners have a matinee rubber match coming up against the A's, looking for that 9th series win in a row. We are sending you to the Mariners pregame show, starting now.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Nick Ebenwari is with us. Nick, how are you, man?
super blessed, super grateful. But yeah, I feel like I should have gone a little sooner. But I landed in the right spot ultimately. Had a great connection with them, so I'm glad I ended up going to the Seahawks. But in my notes, in my phone, like I kind of had like an NFL, it's personal list. So like, that's a funny thing I for myself.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See with the full details and disclaimer.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like frames. Because you found a classic 70s concert poster. But when you went to get it framed, you realized the frame will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster. Which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See with the full details and disclaimer.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
We at 3 Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $2,500 off an energy-efficient Bryan cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. When you're dealing with business owners and the idea that they owe money to the IRS and they feel like they might be letting their staff down, and it just spirals out of control.
One thing I see with businesses, it's really tough because they have employees and maybe they're having a difficult time with the cash flow of the business. then unfortunately what a business often does is they quit making their payroll tax deposits, which is really about the worst thing you could be doing. I mean, it's a telltale sign if you're doing that. Hey, get someone that can help you kind of look at your business and see if things can be changed so that you can operate your business better and make those payroll tax deposits. Because let me tell you this, the IRS is on those right away.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, you have to call Greg Nunn of Nunn Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN, Nunn Better Tax Resolution.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. Great teachers inspire. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, courtesy of WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Teachers are the real MVPs. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM